posterior now, as you can tell in the brain. So all of this is thalamus here. We're actually getting into the posterior parts of the thalamus there. Right here, we are in the midbrain and the pons. So it's a bit of an oblique section here through the brainstem, but you can see the cerebral aqueduct here. And of course, this is the pons. All right, so in this section here, you can see that we're now getting into the posterior horn of the lateral ventricle. This is the very, very tail end of corpus callosum there. You can see the cut surface here of the cerebellum. It's the middle cerebellar peduncle moving in there. And here you can see the central canal. It's going to open up into the fourth ventricle, which will lie just on the other side of that opening there. In this coronal section, we can see both gray and white matter. White matter is the sum of all myelinated axons or tracts as they travel through the CNS. Gray matter is the sum of all nerve cell bodies. It can be seen here along this cortical band on the surface of the brain, which is why an increased surface area is so important to accommodate the large number of neurons in the cortex. Gray matter can also be found in these deep nuclei of the forebrain, including basal ganglia and limbic structures. We're going to cut this brain in a horizontal orientation. Okay, we're now going to cut through the brainstem here in an axial orientation. So here's the midbrain. And here we've cut through the pons in the superior cerebellar peduncle as it projects to the cerebellum. So this is the last section here through the pons, and you can see some of the deep cerebellar nuclei here. In this cut here, you can see the inferior part of the cerebellum and then part of the open medulla. And here you can see the closed medulla as the ventricle has closed over the central canal here. Finally, the brain can be cut along the sagittal plane. Here we have cut the brain along the mid-sagittal plane to separate the two hemispheres. With this overview, we now have a common terminology as we begin our journey through the brain.